Hello guys, welcome back to BoreDraw, episode number 33, double threes up in the building. We've got a hell of a weekend of football to discuss, and I've got a very happy boy sat right here.
It's mad. You could say the same thing every single week. You're just a very happy boy. That's how good we've been. Normally, any football team that you support, there's good and there's bad. And we have had a couple of average games this season, but surely, apart from us, no team has been happier for longer. And it's juicy. And I'm loving it.
I mean, I don't know, if you're a Man City fan, you'd be pretty happy for the last 3 years or whatever.
Yeah. But I've seen City fans were fucking had the cheek to boo Pep and the team. I know they were 2-0 down against Tottenham, and that's dead. But they had the cheek to boo Pep and the team when the team have brought them unparalleled success in the past 5 years.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. But obviously, we're talking right now about Arsenal versus Manchester United, the only team to have beaten Arsenal this season. But what a game! Just an unbelievable game. We were actually at the pub watching it.
As we
Ros stood up to go get a couple beers, and then suddenly the boy Marky Rashford decided put them on hold.
Yeah, and that got so many Casemiro fanboys absolutely turned on because he skinned Partey, nutmegged him in the midfield, sent him for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and then pulled out a 30-yard screamer. The thing with Rashford, when he does, I think it's shooting from any distance really, he doesn't knuckle, he kind of knuckle balls it.
He doesn't hit through the ball, he sort of
top spins it so hard, and he's one of the only guys that I've seen that does this kind of technique, and maybe David Luiz when he does free kicks does it as well, but yeah, I don't know, as a keeper it's just a nightmare to kind of judge because it always bounces in front of you as well, and it just makes it so hard to kind of judge.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I thought Arsenal started the game brilliantly. I thought Martinelli was electric in the opening 10 minutes or so. And it was sort of before the game, you're thinking, right, Man United on a really good run, Arsenal on a really good run. Man United did beat Arsenal previously. How is this going to start?
That's our only L this season.
Will it start a bit cagey or what? But Arsenal came out the blocks and they were flying.
Yeah.
They could have been a couple goals up within a few minutes. And we've seen that with Arsenal, always starting fast. Literally the opposite of Spurs.
Yeah, 100%.
Starting fast, starting hard, and really pushing the aggression, which is something I think owes a lot to the mentality that Arteta's instilled in this team.
100%.
No one can match their intensity, their aggression, their press.
Yeah.
And no one can also match how good they are at playing out against the press. Because Man United played a really aggressive press in this game. So I say press more. But they played such an aggressive press, and Arsenal's technicality in the middle between Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, even the likes of Nketiah dropping in, Martinelli, Saka, they can play out of anything. Yeah. Zinchenko as well. Unbelievable.
I was going to get on to have a whole section about Zinchenko, but you brought him up, so let's get on it. I was talking about when we played Spurs, how they have two in midfield and they're always going to get outrun against our three, but then it's a 4 when Zinchenko tucks in. And that was Spurs with 2. Obviously, Man United have 3 in the middle, so they can match up 3 for 3 with us. Probably not on a technical aspect. We're probably more technically gifted, especially when McTominay's playing instead of Casemiro. Mm-hmm. But when Zinchenko comes in, and he is proven to be such a good signing. I know a lot of Man City fans were sad to see him go, because not only does he bring the kind of technical ability, but he brings this winner's mentality that I'll get on to in a bit. But in terms of just his pure technical ability, he ran that game from midfield and he was playing at left back. And it's crazy that what he does is him and Xhaka just confuse the midfielders of the opposition. Zinchenko will tuck in to the middle, Xhaka will come out to left back. The other way round, Xhaka will push forward, Zinchenko will move to midfield, and then we don't have a left back. It's so hard to track the extra man when the extra man is as technically good and has got the football IQ of Zinchenko. It's crazy.
Is he currently the best left back in the league?
Yeah, because who are you talking about? You're talking about Cancelo, who at the moment isn't even starting for City. Mm-hmm. You're talking about Robertson, who is playing in 10th place Liverpool, who concede for fun at the moment. And they're the only two, really.
That's the only two that I would really put up
Maybe
in
Big
that.
Dan Burn. But yeah, genuinely, I'd say Zinchenko's the best left back in the league.
Yeah, I think you'd have to agree based on this season, and even
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and let us know definitely, because it was always when he left City, it was like, oh right, maybe he's taken a step down in his career, but apparently when he first went into Arsenal, he instantly went into that dressing room and was like, we're going to win the league. That's our aim.
That's the winner's mentality I'm talking about.
And apparently, like, some of them were laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, look at them now.
We just finished fifth. Haven't won the league in fucking God knows how long, like 15 years. We bottled getting fourth. So there's this kind of Arsenal were struggling. All the pundits are like, they're not even in the big six anymore.
And all the Aubameyang drama come out.
All the drama. You've got pundits saying that Leicester... Gary Neville, I'm coming for you. You're a fucking donkey. Yeah, anyway. But
I think Ross was referring to the fact that Gary Neville, in his mid-season predictions, has got Man City to win the league and Man United to finish above Arsenal.
I think the guy's just petty that he was under the tutelage of Sir Alex Ferguson, had him in his ear at Man United for his career, and then he took the leap to become a manager at a kind of big Spanish team that has lots of history, but is kind of like a sleeping giant kind of thing in Valencia. Went there, stunk it up so hard, and now he's petty at any manager that wants to take on a similar task. But those managers that are succeeding at it, aka my boy Mikel Arteta, he's just got a fucking stiffy on for him because he's angry.
I saw a thing earlier where it's like all the like children of Sir Alex Ferguson are pundits, and all the tutelage of Pep Guardiola. You've got Xavi, who's top of La Liga.
Yeah.
You've got
Vincent Kompany
top of the Championship, and you've got Mikel Arteta top of the Premier League.
Beautiful things,
and also, but another interesting thing though, maybe backing up Gary a bit though, I think he actually has a higher win rate at Valencia than Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa and Frank Lampard at Everton.
Yeah, I think we need to do like a separate episode about Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
And just players turn managers in total. But
look at Wayne
Steven
Rooney.
Gerrard and Frank Lampard in particular, two of England's probably
most iconic players,
barring maybe like Wayne Rooney or, I don't know, maybe like Harry Kane or something. But yeah, probably still Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. How have they stunk up the managing situation so bad? And especially because it's not even one job. They both had 2-3 jobs now.
I mean, he did all right at Rangers, Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, but as you've said multiple times, was that Mick Bill?
Nah, he's a shit manager.
You love him, really.
Nah.
But where were we? Zinchenko, the winning mentality that I wanted to touch on earlier. Him and Gabriel Jesus. What I think they've done is because they've won so much at Man City. What is it, like 4 or 5 Prems in a row?
460 trophies.
Genuinely, it's a joke. Because they've won it so much, that is just all they know. I think Zinchenko, I saw a stat that his Premier League win rate is the second best ever behind Arjen Robben. I should have been like, guess who's top?
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Nah.
I would have gone.
Tom would have been like Arjen Robben.
Yeah,
remember when Tom had him in his...
Was that Tom or was it Gaffers?
Oh, I thought it was Tom.
It was one of them with dodgy opinions.
Yeah, it's so funny. But anyway.
I don't know who I would have guessed for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I maybe would have gone someone like Vincent Kompany or...
Yeah, it's not a bad shout.
Or Guerrero, maybe.
Yeah, but anyways, Zinchenko's on like, I think 82% win rate, which is fucking disgusting. So him and Gabriel Jesus, because they've won so much and so consistently, that is literally all they know now. So they'll go into an environment where Arsenal do get wins, but not as many as Man City. And they've just put in this mentality where, like, why the fuck aren't we winning? Like, even if we go behind, Arsenal, as we've said before, they used to have this kind of stigma that they capitulate. But now we'll go behind and you just see the team. We've only been behind in total this season for 90 minutes. Accumulatively, which is crazy. So you see this kind of shift in mentality now that back in day, yeah, we fold. But now it's, fuck that. Even if we're 1-0 down, 2-0 down, whatever.
We're going to try to put 4 past you.
We'll come back. We'll find a way to come back. We've got not just the talent, which I think we always had, but it's now the mentality to back it up, which is, I think, a massive kudos to the 2 players that they brought in with that mentality, and also Arteta for kind of fostering this mentality. Because I've seen a lot of snakes on the TL, and who's that Nancy guy that got kicked off of mainstream punditry because he was sexist? Richard Keys.
Yes.
Richard Keys. He's got a fat stiffy for Arteta. Anytime Arteta does anything, he's like, Arteta's a disgrace. He's running up and down the touchline. Blah, blah, blah. It's like...
Celebration police as well.
Yeah, firstly, if Arteta doesn't do that, the mentality will lower because you want to feel like your manager is leading the charge. And he is doing that. Secondly, all the other managers do it as well. I saw Laura Wood saying that the other day, Pep kicked a bottle and it hit one of the geezers in the other dugout. So
yeah,
Pep's not above it.
David Moyes has done it.
Everyone's done it. So
yeah.
I don't know. He's just got a fat stiffy on for Arteta. So fuck you, Richard Keys. I'm going to stop backing the boys now because I've been very biased.
Right. Breaking down this game a bit, yeah?
Yeah, talk to me.
So I just want to make the point that I think Man United are ahead of the curve in terms of where I thought they'd be under Ten Hag.
Massively agree.
I think you look at Arsenal, how many years into this project they are. Man United are far less of the way through their project.
Yeah,
but we're seeing a lot of
that with their squad was better.
Yeah, they spent way more money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very impressed with them, and I think they'll continue to impress people.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's 3 players that I wanted to highlight in this game, particularly 2 from Arsenal and the 1 from Man United. And I think it's obvious who we're going to be talking about. I want to start with Eddie Nketiah.
And then we'll get on to the Battle of the Star Boys.
Yeah, Battle of the Star Boys. But yeah, Eddie Nketiah, I think, did we talk about this last episode?
Nketiah in the room.
Yeah, mate.
And is in trouble. Nketiah in the room.
That's a banger. And if you want to listen to another banger, JJ Bull's put out an absolute banger. You'll get it on.
Oh,
just listen
We've
to
retweeted
this.
it on
Just listen
the
to
TL.
this.
Is there anyone better?
Yeah, Twitter as well. I retweeted it.
Yeah.
So
It's
funny.
brilliant.
Shout out JJ Bull.
I'll whack that in the description as well because
Yes,
it's
so
brilliant. JJ Bull, just absolute content machine. But yeah, Eddie Nketiah, he came in and everyone's like, he's like B-Tech Gabriel Jesus. The kid's unbelievable. And
So
I hold
good.
my hands up here. I thought he was going to be an average Premier League striker. Maybe not even average. I thought he'd be like hovering around the Southamptons of the league. But my man is absolutely crushing. You can see why he's the under 23s or under 21s top scorer of all time for England. He's technically like excellent. His game sense is unbelievable, top tier.
Yeah.
And like the main worry was, he's not actually that great of a finisher or like whatever. And he's always said this, Eddie Nketiah. He said, if you give me games, I will score goals.
Yeah.
And he's getting a run now, not because of like off his own back, but because of the injury that happened to Gabriel Jesus in the World Cup. But now we're seeing the silver lining of that injury because everyone thought that would be the downfall of Arsenal, that they're going to come back after the World Cup break and that they would fall apart because they haven't got that high pressing Jesus, that techie Brazilian up top. But Eddie Nketiah, round of applause, mate. Excellent.
Question for Arsenal fans. If Gabriel Jesus gets back fit, who's starting? Because I don't know. I genuinely say Eddie still.
I saw a little tweet where it's like, it's got the song, your defense is in trouble, Nketiah's in the room, and then it's Gabriel Jesus listening to that and he's like pumping.
Yeah, I've seen that.
4 or 5 weeks away from
it's that clip of Roy Keane where he's got like one leg in the curl and he's like smashing it.
But
it's so funny.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and like I said,
No, I totally agree. I've backed him for a while because I've seen him in like under 21 games, and you just could tell that the finishing ability is just so much better than everybody else his age. And then it's like, can you make that jump to senior football? Because a lot of people can't. But like we've said multiple times, he's never really been given the opportunity to have a prolonged run of games. And then in comes the Gabriel Jesus injury that gives him this prolonged run of games. And I think he's showing everyone now that, yes, his finishing ability is good, but I think the worry that it was that he couldn't link up the play like Gabriel Jesus. But the World Cup gave him a chance to kind of focus on that element of his game because his finishing doesn't need any more work. But he's definitely focused on that area of his game. He's got a bit bigger. You can see him bullying defenders that are considerably bigger than him, like the likes of Varane or in the game before Eric Dyer, Romero. He's having them on toast. And I think that's just a testament to his work rate and just how much he wants to prove himself.
I think as well, I was going to actually ask you this. Do you think, when he's been put into the team before, whether it be because Lacazette wasn't performing, Aubameyang, he felt he had pressure to perform because he was going to only get a couple of games to show what he could do before he was going to get subbed out again for these bigger names. Now that Jesus was out of the scene for like a little bit of time, he didn't hit the ground running instantly, and he did look a bit wobbly, but the more he's played, the better he looks.
Yeah, 100%.
And so do you think that alleviation of pressure, the fact that there is sort of no one to jump in, and that maybe the rumours that like Arsenal were going to sign a striker, I know they were in for Mudryk and everything, that didn't work out, brought in Trossard, but do you think that maybe the lack of pressure has actually helped him?
Yeah, I think when you're young, like you've got to be a certain elite player to handle the pressure. Like Saka, when he came into this Arsenal team, we were like in the shittest run of form ever, like shittest league positions ever. And he kind of put the entire club on his back, and he's got that kind of killer elite mentality to handle that pressure. But not every player does. You see players that get onto the scene. Don't want to talk about Jadon Sancho too much, but that kind of player where he gets all this pressure. He's signed for United. He's the star man, and he's kind of folded under that pressure. But Eddie,
Ademola Lookman, absolutely. I think he's dropped 9+.
He's cooking at Atlanta. Yeah,
in Serie A, like.
But maybe Eddie's not that kind of player that
thrives under the pressure.
Maybe he needs an environment that's more pressure's off.
But maybe that's how he builds his confidence and allows him to deal with it.
It's good that you can tell Mikel's, and you can see this in the All or Nothing, he's quite a good manager. He's quite good at reading what players want, and the players that need a hand on their shoulder, he can give them that. The players that just want to be left out there to handle it all by themselves, he can do that. So I think, the environment that Arteta has built at the moment, just good vibes, man.
Good vibes. We're going to take a little break, and we're back to talk about the two of the biggest names in the Premier League right now. Two men cooking it up.
Also, Man United fans, how can you be calling Rashford a star boy? My guy's like 27 years old. 26, 27. How old is he? I'm going to quickly Google it while we're away. But yeah, we'll be back in a sec.
What was your something to say?
I'd like to formally apologise for misaging and misrepresenting Marcus Rashford as a 26, 27-year-old. He's actually 25. He's actually younger than us by a few months, which is mad. But I wouldn't call myself a star boy. Maybe I'm the star boy of the podcasting scene.
Who knows? But he's not quite Jesse Lingard star boy.
Nah. But yeah, battle of the star boys.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, two of the hottest prospects in the Premier League. I say prospects, like I say, he's 25 years old. But two most dangerous, most direct, and most exciting players to watch at the minute. It is interesting because I think Marcus Rashford's probably getting a bit more of the limelight at the minute because he's had this sort of resurgence. He was left out under Ten Hag at the beginning.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's left now. He's sort of filling the gap, and he's doing an amazing job. And you watch him play, and there are very few players who are as dynamic and aggressive as he is with the ball.
Yeah.
And
just the other one that is that dynamic and that aggressive is Bukayo Saka.
Well, and I think if you look at it from
it's good for England,
an England perspective, 100%.
And we said this.
You got Rashford on the left and Saka on the right.
Mate, how we said that during the World Cup, and like obviously before the World Cup they both weren't in as good form as they are now, but we could tell our football IQ is just there, man.
Mate, maybe the next Euros you got Saka on the right, Rashi on the left, and Eddie up front.
Yes, man.
Mate,
that's black excellence.
That is cooking.
I love that.
That is cooking.
But I think they're both so good. I've never kind of thought that Rashford isn't an elite player. He's always, when he broke onto the scene against us and scored a hat-trick, I was like, fuck me, this kid is going to be ruining my life for 10, 15 years. But he has taken a dip, which is something that I'm going to put in the pro column for Bukayo. He hasn't really had a prolonged dip beyond maybe like 2 or 3 games, which is natural for anyone. Bukayo Saka has always been, since he broke onto the scene, top level.
I think in the Arsenal documentary, there was a little plot point where Saka wasn't on the best run of form, but you saw how they sort of dealt with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's always going to be easy for us to sit here and compare the two because they're both wingers, they both play in the Premier League, they're both English, and like they both have sort of similar direct attacking play styles.
Yeah.
We just got to sit back and enjoy them. I'm not saying they're Ronaldo and Messi, but they are. But they are excellent players. And I really think this Man United revival has really come down to them bringing Casemiro one, but really also down to the excellency of Marcus Rashford and he is unplayable when the two most scary players that have run at you in the Premier League, have got to be, if you're 1-on-1, Bukayo Saka
And Marcus Rashford.
and Marcus
100%.
Rashford.
I just thought about it. When you said, like, the limelight is probably a bit more on Rashford than it is for Saka, I think that might also be down to the fact that in the Man United team, I can't really name anyone else that's scoring goals beyond Rashford, really. Whereas, for Arsenal, because Odegaard's getting goals, because Nketiah's getting goals, because Martinelli's getting goals, Saka's goals don't get highlighted as much because
You think
they're getting spread
Rashford
around.
is getting the limelight because he is sort of carrying Man United a bit more,
100%. Whereas, like, Arsenal, they're sharing the fun around
And
a bit more.
maybe it's also because we've come accustomed to seeing Saka's name pop up on the video printer, the throwback video printer,
Yeah,
teletext.
yeah, Saka all the time.
But yeah, and now you see in Rashford, you're thinking, that's good,
But I think my long and short of it is how I feel on these two players is, for me, my baby boy Bukayo is better. But I'm happy to entertain the debate. I think there's elements that both of them have better and weaker in their games. I think Rashford is a better finisher in and around the box, outside the box. Rashford's kind of technique at scoring goals is cleaner than Bukayo Saka's. But I think Saka's general footballing IQ and ability to link play is better than Rashford's.
Probably a better dribbler as well, in my opinion.
You see Rashford in games where he doesn't score, he goes missing quite a lot. Whereas Saka has the ability to link up play, intricate one-touch passes. He's better at that. So for me, and the fact that he's younger, I think for me, if you're going to pick one of them in your team, you're taking Bukayo. But Rashford, quality player, I'd say second best winger in the league.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that. But maybe would it be controversial to say that maybe Rashford's ceiling as a player is actually higher than Bukayo Saka's? Because I think we've seen him do like the top elite level stuff where he will go and he will literally 1 versus 11 a game.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe Saka's more intricate in a team like setup. I don't know. Maybe this is a discussion to be had, but let us know down below. Definitely
take in your team if you could have one of them, Bukayo or
and Rashford's quite versatile in terms of you could play anywhere across the front three.
Don't talk to me about versatility if you're not talking about Bukayo Saka. My guy started at left
back.
He can play left
true.
wing back, right wing back, right winger, left winger. My guy. And there's talks amongst the Arsenal fan base that when Saka matures a bit more, he's going to mature into a cam. So this kid, man.
How many cams do you want, man?
Well, I know. We're going to end up like, we actually are going to end up like Man City reserves, where you got 3 of the best cams in the world, just all stuck that you can't fit in. But anyway,
we've just discussed 2 players in the Premier League who are in electric form and potentially leading themselves to be involved in the conversation of our next discussion.
Yes,
we're going to be talking about potential players for player of the season, the contenders, if you like. And I think this debate may heavily involve one Erling Haaland off the back of another great performance. Someone outside
There's
the
someone
door.
outside the shed. Oh my God, I can see them.
Uh-oh. Yeah, scary times. But
I think for me, the discussion is between Erling Haaland and then, say, Arsenal win the league. It's Erling Haaland and a couple of standout Arsenal players.
Maybe Odegaard, maybe Saka.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like in the past, you'd be looking at players like Mo Salah, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane. I mean, Harry Kane might be in discussion, and we're going to talk about him later in this episode.
Yeah.
Because he's on an absolutely barnstorming season, just being completely overshadowed by the freak of nature that is Haaland.
If Spurs don't get top 4, he can finish on as many goals as he wants. If he's behind Haaland in the goal scoring, he can't claim to be the best at that. And if he doesn't get Spurs top 4, he can't have claimed to have done that. So for me, Harry Kane, I don't think gets in the discussion, even if he gets 25, 30 goals. Because I think, for me...
He's also not getting the assists this season.
Exactly.
In the past.
And we'll blame Son for that. Son, mate, pick it up.
Cheers, Kane's crime.
Question. So, if Man City finish second, but Arsenal win the league, obviously, and Odegaard gets 10 so he's on 8 goals, 7 assists at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Say he gets double-digit goals, double-digit assists, but Haaland, and he captains Arsenal to the Prem, but Haaland gets 40 Prem goals, but Man City finish second. Who's getting
It's
it
a
for
hard debate because I think, like, if you had someone like, I don't know, Callum Wilson bang 40 goals, even for Newcastle in a season, he would win Player of the Season no matter where they finished. And
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so I don't know whether we hold Haaland to higher standards now because he came in and absolutely tore it up from the off. But I see what you're saying. I think the greatest accomplishment is captaining your team to the title. Double digits in both assists and goals is incredible, and you can see that Odegaard is an absolute freak of nature in terms of what he does.
Mate,
So-
you see that kind of elastico pass that he done?
Yeah, the little flick pass, it's like a question mark kick. But yeah, I mean, it's a really, really hard debate because 40 goals is ridiculous, and he probably will go do it.
Especially because the last few seasons, the top goal scorer has been like 21, 22 goals. 40 is literally doubling that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I think it's really hard to look past that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if you score 40 goals and you don't win the league,
We're going to do a little poll, I think. Once we posted this podcast, I'll do a little poll on Twitter and Insta and all that jazz. I'll do Haaland second place with Man City, but 40 goals. Or Odegaard captaining Arsenal to the league, 10 plus goals, 10 plus assists.
what if Saka goes
let
on
us
to
know what you
score
think.
like on a goal
Oh
scorer?
yeah,
run, you
I'll
know?
do like any Arsenal player 10, because all Saka, Martinelli, even Eddie are all in line to get like
Yeah,
doubles on stuff. So
I
it's
don't think Martinelli's doing up to the standard of.
Martinelli's taken a bit of a dive in the last couple of weeks.
No, but I just don't think it's like the rub of the green's going his way, to be honest, a little
I
bit.
agree.
But he's still so impactful in games.
oh
He's
yeah, you'd
incredible.
never bench him because he causes so much carnage in the defence.
And like, yeah, but Saka's really been the star boy for the last few games for me. But yeah, Odegaard has got to be in there. And yeah, I mean, there are very few other players that have really, you know, stood out to me. I mean, maybe you look at the likes of Casemiro if Man United go on an incredible run. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
you got to sort of have to take a broader perspective on this. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how the Player of the Season contenders do sort of run. But we're only just past the halfway point in the season.
we are indeed. Lots could happen.
Mate, maybe Mudryk comes in for Chelsea and they end up winning the league on some sort of.
Yeah,
like,
don't want to talk about that stinker of a game too much. There was actually so many bore draws this weekend, which is lovely.
yeah,
to
it was
see.
a disgusting
But,
weekend of football, really. But
yeah,
apart from-
Mudryk came on, looked electric. To be fair,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Player of the Season. Let us know who's winning.
right
your
now,
votes.
who is your current player for current contender for Player of the Season? Yeah, for me, it's definitely Odegaard. I think, I don't know, just the way he carries himself, the way he's not carrying Arsenal, but kind of pushing Arsenal onwards. Yeah, I think him, and then maybe Haaland. If I don't know, it's one of those. I think if Haaland gets 20 or 30-ish goals, no. If he hits 40, I'll give it to him.
He's gonna get. Well, he's already on 20.
Yeah, he's already on 25.
Yeah,
I
he's
think.
gonna get 30.
Yeah,
That's a say.
yeah. If he hits 40, I'll let him have it. Even if City can finish fourth, and I'll give it to him.
If he gets 40 and joins Arsenal next season. But yeah, I mean, let us know down below.
That Norwegian link up.
We just spoke about him, Harry Kane.
Yes.
It's an interesting one. So there's been rumours recently around Spurs that Conte's leaving at the end of the season. I think, was it their sporting director or financial director or something?
Yeah, Patrici, yeah.
Got caught up in the Juventus scandal that's happening over in Serie A, so he won't be able to like do anything for like 2 years or whatever. And then yeah, there's talk of a lot of Spurs players leaving. The main one being Harry Kane. And I think in the last few days there's been rumours that he's open to extending his contract
it was weird
with
how
them.
quickly the news shifted from him being open to a move away and like United being the main link to like literally the next day, like not him coming out, but the news was him being open to a contract. So weird.
So he, in the Fulham game, he matched Jimmy Greaves' record,
Yeah.
all-time top scorer for Spurs. And I think he is there. He wants to hunt down that Alan Shearer Premier League record.
Yeah, I don't think he'd ever leave the Prem. The record, he's so close to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're Harry Kane, right, you're having a really, really good season. How many goals is he on? 16 goals, something like that?
16, 17, something like that.
Yeah, and these last few games, he scored quite a few decent goals, not just like tap-ins or whatever.
outside the box pingers,
And
mate.
so there's this question about his legacy where what matters more? But like, will Kane's legacy be held in a good regard if he does stay at Spurs, doesn't win any trophies, but gets Premier League top scorer, or finishes in that that sort of bracket? Or will it be better for him to move on to a club like Man United, I mean, he's not going to go to City now. They've got Haaland.
Yeah.
I mean, Chelsea, I don't think it's the sort of club for him. And then, like, Arsenal, I just don't think that will happen either. But, I mean, I think he wouldn't do that to the Spurs fans. But, yeah, it's interesting because so you are looking at him either staying Spurs or probably going to Man United.
Yeah.
Can't see him leaving to go to somewhere like Real Madrid.
I think he's got to weigh up the... yeah, I agree. He's not going abroad, I don't think. So he's got to weigh up if he thinks he's more likely now to win a trophy with Spurs or with Man United and just make that move. Because if he thinks he can win one at Spurs, stay at Spurs, that's fine. You've been there long enough. You're pretty much Mr. Spurs now. Do it. But you're coming to now the twilight of your career. He's 30 now. He's probably got like...
It's the business end.
2 or 3 more seasons at the top level, and then maybe he'd still be there, but like probably not as prolific. But he probably won't be that top level after that. So he's got 2 or 3 more seasons. Where does he think he's more likely to get a trophy? What team out of Man United and Spurs has the highest likelihood of winning trophy? What team has the most positive trajectory at the moment? It's Man United.
Man United.
Every day of the week. They've got a new manager just come in. He's known for winning stuff with Ajax. He's immediately come in. They've beaten some of the best teams in the league. He's instilled this kind of philosophy that I think Harry Kane probably quite likes from an outsider's perspective. Or Spurs, who have just got Champions League football. And they've had Champions League football now for fucking 4 or 5 years on the trot, whereas Arsenal and Man United haven't. But now, even though they've had all those Champions League spots, their manager, who came in with this kind of one remit of just win us a trophy, and now he's 1.5 seasons, 2 seasons in now. Like you said, sporting director is under investigation. Son, who is your best tag teammate, is taking a dive. You're slipping down the league.
I mean, they had the same remit, though, under Jose Mourinho, and they sacked him the day before the cup final.
And this new manager that you've kind of put your faith in isn't willing to sign a new contract.
Well, I think maybe that's where it comes down to me, like for me anyway, on this Harry Kane saga. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe they're lining up someone to take over from Conte at the end of the season. Maybe he's willing to give it another go there, because I think his legacy would be better, like for me anyway, if he miraculously took Spurs to winning any trophy.
Yeah.
But I think like the ones that, you know, would put his name in the top bracket of like best ever English footballers, you need to win a Premier League or a Champions League or something.
Like, yes, if he wins the Carabao Cup with Spurs, like, fair play, he gets his hand finally on some silverware. But, like, what is that? Like, who cares? For someone as good as Harry Kane is, like, there's no doubt about it.
You got the Carabao Cup, then you got like the FA Cup a fair bit above it,
and then you've got up.
And I'd probably put Europa League on the same echelon as maybe FA Cup.
Yeah, maybe
and
a smidge higher. Yeah.
You've got Champions League and Premier League, and they sort of do this depending on sort
and
of...
for a player that we've kind of mutually agreed is either England's best or second best ever striker, him or Rooney, for him to only win the Carabao Cup, behave like that's like, if I was Harry Kane, I'd go to sleep and have nightmares at night.
Yeah.
So you've got to think, how can I get my hands on the Prem or the Champions League as quick as possible?
And City are out of the question.
It's never going to be at Tottenham. Tottenham, yes, they might win a Carabao. They could luck their way to an FA Cup. They're never going to luck their way to a Prem in Harry Kane's career. They're not going to luck their way.
What about Champions League?
If they win the Champions League with Harry Kane, I'll fucking cancel this podcast. I'll go get a Harry Kane tattoo.
Why are you punishing me for this, man? Just get the Harry Kane tattoo.
Okay. But genuinely, it's not going to happen at Spurs. You're not going to luck your way to the Prem or to the Champions League. So, Man United, they're probably right now about as far away from it as Spurs. But they're looking forward in an upward manner, whereas Spurs are looking backwards in a downwards manner.
And I think Harry Kane is exactly what United need. I think it suits both parties. And I think I've seen quite a few Spurs fans who are sort of like of the opinion, all right, maybe it's time to just let him go.
I think he's done such a service for them that they can't be anything but grateful. If
they hold on to him for the next 2-3 years and his value is just going to go down and down,
yeah, he's got
they're probably not got any better chance of winning anything. Yeah. Maybe they're better to do what they sort of failed to do with the Bale money and take that Kane money. I mean, you probably get 100 million plus for him,
Genuinely.
and then make some smart signings. But mate, also though,
Get Osimhen in.
I've seen some crazy things today about who two players Chelsea linked with, Fernandes and
Caicedo.
100 plus million for both of them.
What
the fuck is
any
this about?
player that's had a stretch of like a month of good performances is now 80 plus million
Mate, it's actually
by default, and it's so fucked. I hate it.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I mean, if you're Brighton, 100 million for Caicedo is mad.
Mate, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
They just go scout a random country and get another gem in for 2 million.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like Cucurella, who went to Chelsea. He's not really performed. Then they got what 60 million.
Apparently, Everton as a club are on the market for 500 mil.
That is mental. It is mental. And
Chelsea have spent that much in this window, and Everton are on the whole club. Chelsea could have just brought the entire Everton club. Got like it.
Let us know. Harry Kane.
Yes.
Should he stay or should he go?
Yeah, it's a big one.
After we come back from the break, we'll be talking about. Where are they? Oh, they're up there.
Yeah, you can't see them.
These ones. We're going to go from talking about these to talking about them. It's Everton.
Yes.
We're talking about Everton and the shambles that they're in right now. We are currently sat. It's January 25th, and the transfer window is drawing to a close, and it's been a pretty quiet one. But
have you seen how much more the Prem has spent than any other league? It's disgusting.
Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah, it's pretty much Chelsea.
Mainly Chelsea. But talking about transfers, we are looking at a club who have transferred their manager out the door.
Bash.
And potentially transferring the ownership of their club to another man, woman or child. We're talking about Everton.
Yes.
They are in dire straits. Frank Lampard has
Complete
been
disarray,
booted out the door after their loss to West Ham.
Yeah.
By another manager who's under a little bit of pressure, David Moyes.
Yeah.
But
he was linked with going back to Everton, which is mental.
Everton. How do you fix Everton? They haven't got. We'll go back to one of my favourite sayings, the Kanye West. I'm going to fix Wolves. Who's going to fix Everton, Roz?
Bash. Well, I think let's start with let's start with who they've had in their kind of like most recent memory. So they've had Rafa Benitez, Ancelotti, Marco Silva, Big Sam. I think Duncan Ferguson had a little tenure. So there's just a mishmash.
They have not been good since the Fellaini, David Moyes days.
Genuinely, I think what they had at that point in time was an identity. They were this team that were pushing the big six. They were always in and around 7th or 8th, trying to break in. And that's why I think I saw a clip of David Moyes on that Diary of a CEO thing, and he said that's why he got the Man United job, that they saw that he could build a club up, build the identity. And
apparently Alex Ferguson just called up and said,
like,
you're the new Man United
job.
manager, and he didn't have anything to say about it.
Yeah, to imagine. So I think that's what they had going for them at that point. They had a manager that could build the identity. I think that's what West Ham liked about him. I think he's come out in the recent links with him going back to Everton and said, no, I'm staying at West Ham. I'm building something here. He's very much a project, an ethos manager. Whereas I think a lot of people that they've got in are mercenaries. Big Sam is an absolute definition of a managerial mercenary.
Yeah, but you got to love him.
You got to love Big Sam, mate.
But yeah, I mean, if Ancelotti can't make it work and he's literally gone into Real Madrid halfway through the season and won the Champions League.
Yeah.
And, he's turned them.
He's like
downwards
so
trajectory.
short term. You were never going to keep Ancelotti for long. Rafa Benitez, you were never going to keep him for long.
I mean, but that was always weird with his.
And
links
that was
to
always
Liverpool,
weird
yeah.
as well. Like what I liked about Frank Lampard is that if given the opportunity and if the ownership wasn't dead and his form wasn't dead, I could see Frank Lampard.
And he wasn't a bad manager.
And he wasn't a bad manager, but I could see something building there, kind of like the Arteta thing. You give a young manager with an idea the chance, they could build something. But Everton have just gone in this process of just giving mercenaries the job that very short term. And I think that comes down to the ownership, where I think it's quite telling that the Everton fans, even though Frank Lampard was doing absolutely horseshit,
they didn't turn on him so much.
They didn't turn on him.
They
were
turned
just
on the
always
ownership.
on the ownership, saying you're the problem. So
Mashiri, is that?
Yeah.
So the next managerial appointment for Everton is probably the biggest in recent history.
Because they've never been relegated.
Never been relegated.
They're on the verge.
Also, next season is their last season at Goodison Park.
True that, yeah.
So they could potentially be playing their last season at Goodison Park in the Championship. And I've heard some people say that's great because they're going to win pretty much every game.
Yeah.
But you'd probably rather see it off in the Premier League where you've been your entire club's history. So the next managerial appointment is massive. And I think it's quite telling who they're being linked to right now. So a few of the names in the hat.
Yeah,
You've got Sean Dyche, and I think that is probably the approach that they will go
I
with.
think that's Bookie's favourite at the moment.
Bookie's favourite, I think.
That's probably my
You've
favourite.
got Marcelo Bielsa, who I would love to see back in the Premier League. I just love his football, and
quality
he's
manager.
Spygate as well. Bring that back.
Did you see he was questioned about the job, and he said that if he wanted the job, their team's too slow at the moment, and if he was to even consider it, they'd have to make some
big
signings with pace, and obviously the window's shut in, they're up for sale, so I can't see the signings happening.
I don't think that would happen, and I just think at this point, unless you're so certain that you're good enough to keep Everton in the Premier League, and probably a lot of managers would think that about themselves, but if you're Bielsa, do you really want that stain in your career?
Yeah, 100%.
Leeds got a bit difficult, and he left on really good terms. He was like, right, I can't take this club forward anymore at the minute. Another name who's been linked around and about is Wayne Rooney.
Big Waz.
And
connection.
I quite like that because
So do I.
I think he did a really, really good job at Derby considering the circumstances.
Yeah.
Massive point deduction, couldn't really bring in any players, and he managed to gather all the players around. They were fighting for him, and they literally only got relegated on a couple of days.
No,
before
I
the
totally
last
agree. I think I think a lot of it depends on the ownership situation. If the ownership stay in, I think it's Sean Dyche because
You want to secure Premier League.
He will get them results pretty quickly. But if they get new ownership in and they want to take the direction into this new kind of Everton, new stadium, new manager, new squad, I think Wayne Rooney would be a great appointment.
Because Roy Hodgson there.
Yeah, because it's kind of like starting from scratch, completely clean slate, new ownership,
New stadium.
The expectations at the moment are an all-time low anyway, so you can give Waz. That's why I went Wooney, because I was going Waz or
Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Wooney. But you can give Big Waz time to kind of mould his team, kind of like Arteta, kind of like all these other young managers that are getting the job, Xavi, company. You give him time to build, and he's got the Everton connection, so he's immediately got the fans on side. And like you said, did okay at Derby. So I think long term, I think Wayne Rooney is a massive shout.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's sort of going against Wayne Rooney is the Lampard appointment. Do you want to appoint another
unproven manager?
Yeah, semi-unproven, and a former, someone who's only just recently retired, when you could have someone with the gravitas of a Sean Dyche. And I'd like to see Sean Dyche go to another Premier League club.
And
we only really saw him
with a decent budget as well.
I don't think they've got a lot of money at the minute.
No, but I assume if they get brought out
but they've got some more exciting
and
players.
They've got sellable assets.
Yeah, they've got assets, and it won't be without
Mate, that's an easy 200 million.
Yeah, easy, mate. We didn't even discuss him in the Player of the Season contenders, mate. But yeah, I mean, there are talks as well of them losing Anthony Gordon to Newcastle.
Mate, they should have sold him when Chelsea were offering 80 million because his value has tanked. I think Newcastle offered 25 plus 15 in add-ons. I'd ship him off for that. I think Arsenal are linked with Onana, their centre mid.
Yeah,
so
he's only been there since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, exactly. I think
he was quite good actually.
Jordan Pickford is probably gone at the end of the season, so they've got sellable assets. It's an interesting time to be an Everton fan. I think once the ownership debacle is being sorted out, either they leave or they stay. Once you know what's going on, because at the moment it is quite limbo-y. Once that's been sorted out, the manager situation will sort itself out. You'll either get Dyche or someone, maybe Rooney, probably not Rooney. It's probably going to be Dyche.
But I think it is official that the club is up for sale, right?
Oh, is it?
I
saw
I'm not entirely
contrast.
sure.
I read one that said it was, and then one that said Farhad Moshiri has actually come out and said they're not. So I don't know. Maybe he's
but
open.
They
to
need to they have half a season now to determine their fate and whether the ownership say, right, look, we're not going to sell up now. We're going to put a little bit more money in. We're going to make an appointment who we think is going to keep us in the Premier League, because at the end of the day, if they keep them in the Premier League, they can sell that club on in the summer for more than they can if it's a Championship club.
One thing I've just thought about though is the stadium debt.
It's going to be massive.
They're up for sale, but why would someone come in and buy right now with stadium debt when everyone could just avoid buying? Farhad Moshiri will have to pay off that stadium debt, and then they just wait until the stadium debt's paid off and then buy it. So I don't know. It's a sticky sitch.
Yeah, and it goes far deeper than just football, really, when it comes. He's going into the business of football, and
Yeah, it's disgusting.
you know that's not a place where where fans really have too much insight into what goes on behind the scenes. And I think that is why you're seeing the Everton fans turn their anger towards Moshiri and the ownership as opposed to Frank
'cause
Lampard.
Otherwise, you're just stuck in this kind of repeating cycle of manager in, poor recruitment, poor planning, poor sporting direction, sack the manager. Oh, nothing's changing. Get another manager in. Poor identity, poor same thing again. Sack the manager. You're stuck in this cycle until something changes at the top.
Who knows? Everton fans, let us know what's going on at your club. How would you fix it? Just let us know in the description,
Yeah, talk to us.
and we'll discuss it. But coming up, we've got another week of fixtures, and
It's actually not this weekend though. It's next weekend.
yeah, it is.
It's
isn't
FA
it?
Cup
yeah,
weekend.
It's FA Cup weekend.
We've got bloody Man City on Friday
that's
night.
going to be an absolute banger of a game. Can't wait for that. But yeah, we've got a little bit of a break now. February 3rd, the games kick off, and we've got Friday night. We've got Chelsea versus Fulham in a London derby.
This game actually happened a couple of weeks ago, didn't it? Where João Felix got red carded.
Yeah.
But this is, I assume that game was rescheduled maybe.
Yes, and now we're getting the flip side of the fixtures now, because Man United only just played Palace as
I
well.
wonder if João Felix will be available for this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. But
Maybe? I don't know.
Chelsea versus Fulham. Chelsea at home, Stamford Bridge. Fulham. What was their result on the weekend?
They drew 0-0?
No,
No,
they
they
lost
lost
1-0 to
1-0.
Spurs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. They were quite good in that
They
as
had
well.
two games this weekend, didn't they?
But yeah, Fulham. Do you know what? I really like Fulham. I think Mitro's brilliant.
yeah.
I think Palhinha's brilliant. I think they've got I think Tim Reed's been
Tim
brilliant.
Ream's looking quality.
Burnt
Leno had a really good game. Yeah.
They've got some really nice. They've just got a nice team and they've got a good manager. As much as I hate to say it about Fulham, but I don't know. I don't know about Chelsea. They're just a bit of an unknown quantity to me. I think they were okay in spells against Liverpool. I think Liverpool aren't as good as they were. Well, that's a given.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go out on a limb. And it's back-to-back hard games for Fulham in terms of it's kind of almost back-to-back hard games because they had Chelsea and then,
Yeah, they've had a hard run.
yeah. I mean, but they haven't really looked out of it in any game. I'm gonna go for a 1-0 Chelsea.
I do like that. That was initially when my head was going, but I'm still not sold on that Chelsea defence. I think Benoit
Thiago Silva's been
Badiashile,
excellent.
yeah, Badiashile and Thiago Silva are both looking quite good. But I think, although what I've seen in the media is that Reece James and Chilwell are
Back on grass.
back on grass, so
Might be a bit too soon though.
who knows? But I think it's going to be tight. I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, that was my other option.
I was just looking at who Fulham have got next week. Nottingham Forest.
Not Forest. Oh, nice.
But yeah.
Early kickoff on Saturday, Rose. You want to take the lead?
Yes, we're taking on currently managerless Everton. I'm assuming, but you'd hope if if they don't have a manager in a week and a half time,
Get me in.
Yeah, get the boys in. But it's Arsenal travelling to Goodison Park, place that we've always kind of struggled. I think last season, do you remember Damari Gray scored that screamer in like the 90th minute?
Yeah.
So we're never really super.
But sometimes teams play quite well after they lose their manager.
They could have a new manager bounce. But I think we just absolutely murder them.
We've seen it where Arsenal have lost that identity of being the team to lose to these sort of teams. Yeah, I think I back it as well.
I'm going to go 4-0.
Ooh, I'm going to
I
go.
want us to slap someone. It's been a while.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal.
I'll take that. And then it's a Midlands derby.
Yeah, Villa
Is that
versus
Midlands derby?
Leicester. I've been so on Unai Emery's Villa. They look better than they did on the Gerrard, and that's a given.
And they look better, in my opinion, than Leicester look at the moment.
I agree. I think Leicester they're weird. They were 2-0 up against Brighton, weren't they?
They were good going into the World Cup. They had that little peak in form where they were like rock bottom, and then they started climbing out. And then the World Cup came, halted their momentum so hard. And since the resumption of the Prem, they've been very average. Like you said, 2-0 up against Brighton, who are arguably one of top 3 teams in the league, form-wise.
Maybe.
I think probably. 2-0 up against them, you're thinking, fuck me, how we pulled this off? And then you go bottle that game. So, I don't know. I think they're very wobbly at the moment. And Maddison's back, so I think that's good for Leicester. But I think Aston Villa just probably too much just at this moment in time.
Yeah, you want to give a prediction?
Yep. I'm going 1-0 Aston Villa.
I'm going for a 0-0 draw.
BoreDraw stinker.
But no, it could be exciting. Who knows? I can't predict the future, as you can see by my recent run in the predictions.
Yeah, I'm creeping.
You are creeping.
I'm creeping.
Another semi-stinky game. We've got Brentford versus Southampton. Can Ivan Toney do it? Brentford off of a draw against Leeds, weren't it?
Yeah, and then Southampton off of... So they just last night played
Newcastle
in the FA Cup. I think they got scummed out of a result. So
you see, who was it? Was it Jacob Murphy or Callum?
Jacob Murphy was doing that to
Carlo
Gillespie.
Cueto or whatever them, yeah.
And then... No, this is a completely different game.
Yeah, carry on.
But
yeah, Brentford versus Southampton.
Two teams in okay-ish form, bit topsy-turvy, but both, I'd say, on the up from like where they were a couple of months ago. So I'd say...
Nathan Jones is still shit, mate.
Yeah, I said this last episode. You dug him out, but they're on a little something. Semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Couple of decent results in the Prem. I think Nathan comes...
I think Brentford win 3-0.
Do you? Yeah, I see Brentford winning. I don't think it'll be 3-0. I think it'll be tight. I'm going to go...
4-0.
Are you going 4-0?
No, you're going to say 4-0.
Oh, no. I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1.
Brentford.
Brighton versus Bournemouth.
They're slapping them. We did say this last week, though, about Brighton-Leicester, and we were like, both like, oh, Brighton.
I can't see Bournemouth competing with that, the deserving ball that's happening. I'm going 4-1 Brighton.
4-1 Brighton. I don't think Brighton are going to concede. I think I'm going to bring a Brighton defender in my fantasy. We haven't done many fantasy episodes.
Yeah, it's got stinking off and I don't want to talk about it.
We'll do another fantasy just for banter down the line. But we'll let you know where we are and stuff.
We'll do our own episodes where you can say how to play fantasy. I'll just do things, don't do what I did.
Yeah, we could do pros and cons of playing the fantasy. But I do agree. I think Brighton slap them. Going 3-0.
Man United versus Palace. We just saw this fixture happen, actually. Elise in the last minute with a great free kick.
Yeah, why is there so many repeated fixtures?
Don't think that... Because that's what happens when the season turns, mate.
But why would they not scatter them further from the last
mate,
one?
World Cup does weird things to the season. But yeah.
Like Spurs City, I swear we're watching
my
that.
God, stop complaining.
Sorry.
We love football.
Yeah, we do.
Man United versus Palace. Can't see Man United slipping up again. Casemiro will be back.
Home this time as well.
Home as well. Rashford is on fire. Your defence is terrified. Wout Weghorst could prove a little bit of a different challenge to the Palace defence. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Man United.
2-0 Man United. I do like that. I think Palace score. I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 to Man United.
Wolves versus Liverpool. I'm going to go for...
this game the other day as well.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, this two, I swear they played and then had to replay their FA Cup thing. So we've watched this game genuinely 3 times in the last week. So, tight game like it has been in the last 2 times it happened. I'm going to go, what did you say?
1-1 draw.
I do like 1-1 draw. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool though.
Okay. Newcastle versus West Ham. Newcastle flying just through to the final?
Yeah.
No.
They've got second leg.
Second leg. Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, doing well. Beat Southampton last night. On a decent run. Did they draw in...
So a fuck stat. Last time
they conceded was
October. Was prior to the World Cup. So Messi hadn't won the World Cup last time Nick Pope conceded.
They're on 10 consecutive games without conceding or something like that. Or like one goal conceding. Their defence is unmatched at the minute.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I don't think West Ham will have the answers. Danny Ings signed for West Ham, injured.
And I was wondering where Skamaka is, but he's injured as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're
But
stuck.
we did see Bowen and Antonio sort of turn off in the last game.
But like you said, they're not doing anything to that Newcastle defence.
No, I'm going for a 2-0 Newcastle.
Yeah, I like that as well. What I have seen with Newcastle,
I'm going 2-1 Newcastle.
Is that they're finally conceding the
goal.
Yeah,
I think everyone's cursed them.
Newcastle's attack is slightly dried up. I don't think they've scored as many as they'd probably like to.
I think that's maybe due to Almiron's dropping form, maybe.
Yeah, he was running very hot.
Where's Saint-Maximin?
I think he's just come back from injury, but there are links apparently to him leaving for Serie A. Apparently AC Milan want him.
Mate, if you can get like 70 million for like Almiron, not Almiron, for Saint-Maximin.
Yeah, I'll back that. Newcastle 2, West Ham 0 for me.
Moving on to Sunday, we've got Nottingham Forest versus Leeds. 2 teams hovering in and around the drop zone. Nottingham Forest looking a lot better though than they did sort of like previously. Leeds just very mediocre. Off of a decent draw against Brentford, I'd say. But linked with Weston McKennie could be interesting in that. But I just don't know if Jesse Marsh is just signing his favourite American players. I don't know what's going on.
Nice all-American squad, man.
Who knows? But yeah, this could be a weird game. This could go either way. It could go no way at all. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I don't know.
I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
interesting.
Yeah.
Finishing off though the Sunday, Spurs versus City. We saw Spurs go 2-0 up. City
And then
came back and
shit
won
the bed.
4-2.
Where was that? Was that the Etihad?
That was at the Etihad, yeah.
So this is at the London Stadium. No, it's not the London Stadium. What's it called? The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah. White Hart Lane,
Yeah.
B2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go City going to slap them 5-0.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a 3-1 City. I think Kane might score.
Yeah, I like 3-1. I think that's a good shout. I think City, what they'll do is they'll just see how easy it was in that second half for them and just think, why can't we just do that the whole game? And I think they'll just run riot this game. I think it's going to be 4-1.
4-1. And jumping ahead to Wednesday, which is the last fixture of this game week, you know what's going on. Man United playing again against Leeds, who are also playing again. That's how it works in football. But I think Man United slap them. I'm going to go for... Actually, this is a big game, though. It's a big rivalry, actually, this.
Yeah, the two sleeping giants.
I might go for a 2-1 Man United.
2-1 Man United. I do think it'll be a good game. I think the kind of energy that Leeds bring will kind of throw Man United a little bit. So I think there's going to be goals. What did you say, 2-1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go 3-2. I was going to say 3-2, but Man United's defence...
Not so bad.
Not so bad. I'm going to give him a 3-1.
De Gea on quite good form as well.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah.
Just his distribution. We'll end this with De Gea. Your distribution is so
But they've moved away from that. But that's a
bad.
discussion for another time. But yeah, this wraps up this episode of BoreDraw. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We need to get the subscribers up, man.
Come on. Yeah.
100 mini.
Every person watching, get someone new to subscribe. Be a legend.
If you're not subscribed, why not?
Yeah.
And yeah, follow all our socials. TikTok content is popping. Instagram, Twitter.
Tweet us, man. I tweet all day from the BoreDraw
And
account.
no one talks to me.
And no one talks to me. Just engage with me. Give me your opinions. Just, humour me.
But yeah, and we're another week closer to the BoreDraw Euro Tour, so more details coming out about that soon. But yeah, guys, it's been BoreDraw, episode number 33. That's a wrap, and it's live.